Jenna Ryan is a world-renowned speaker and thought leader, ranked in the 87th most influential person online by Fast Company magazine. Jenna Ryan has spoken to thousands around the world and is now speaking to you. So with all things real estate and beyond, here is Jenna Ryan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jenna Ryan Show. We're so glad that you're here today. I'm here today having a great time. We are live on Facebook at jenna.ryan1, and I'm here today with my special guest who is from California, and he flew in yesterday, and he just dropped in for a little bit, then he's off to Thailand today.
Tonight, yes.
Tonight. And his name is Jeff Fallon. I've known him for years, and he's just a wonderful person. And we're glad to have you. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you so much, Jenna. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited to join you and your show. I watch it all the time, every week. And so I'm just honored to be here. And so thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. We're so glad to have you. Well, this has been a very interesting week for me. Have y'all ever heard of Lynyrd Skynyrd? That was a wonderful, wonderful concert that I had the opportunity to go to this past weekend. It was so much fun. Lynyrd Skynyrd, I've heard of them, but I didn't know a lot about them because it was just a little bit, it was in my earlier, it was before I was born, okay? Lynyrd Skynyrd. Anyway, so Lynyrd Skynyrd sings I'm as free as a bird now. That's and then Sweet Home, Alabama. And then A Simple Man. And it was just so nice to be a part of that energy. There was just a great energy going down. Hey, Tiffany, I see you're on Facebook Live. There was just a great energy at the concert. And I was on a date. A great date, like a good date, which is, it's rare to have a great date. But anyway, it was a wonderful time. And so and I'm here with Jeff Fallon today. And we're just here on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there, especially my mother, your mother, and all the other super moms that are out there. Probably the toughest job on the planet. And I don't want to say job, but responsibility, in my humble opinion. So
absolutely. I'm so excited. Today, after the show, I'm taking the day off, and I'm going to go spend time with my mother. We're going to sit in the backyard with our dogs and just chat the whole time. And that's exciting. And anyway, so I'm here today with Jeff Fallon, and he is a motivational coach, and he is also a real estate coach. You also teach real estate, right?
That's correct, yes. Real estate investor for 20 plus years, started at a young age and evolved into training and teaching and coaching others in the same regard. And that evolved into business overall because I am an entrepreneur and run a couple other businesses outside of the real estate space. So, yes.
Tell us about your businesses that you run.
Well, first and foremost, I run a consulting firm.
Okay.
And that's where I coach and train entrepreneurs, and I also do corporate coaching or corporate speaking and consulting.
Okay.
And then I also run my own real estate services company, which basically focuses on private money lending.
Private money lending. Okay.
Correct.
I've been wanting to pick your brain about this private money lending. How do you do that? What do you do with that?
Well, it took a little while to get there. That's definitely an advanced part of real estate investing. As I started out in the early stages, I just bought properties, fixed them up, and then rented them out for many, many, many years.
Flipping.
Well, buy and hold, and then I did do some flips there in between some of the buy and holds. And this is back in Chicago, where I'm born and raised. I had since relocated, since you brought up California, to San Diego about 8 years ago to get out of the cold weather.
Right.
But to back up and answer your question, is I love real estate. I started out in corporate America literally at 18 years old, but I spent a lot of nights and weekends studying and learning and buying and kind of getting out there in the trenches, working on houses. And I just couldn't wait to get off work to really just get involved in my real estate business and build the portfolio so I can retire early was the whole goal.
Okay.
And with that said, I did a lot of that work, for 10, 15 years through my 20s and 30s. And that evolved and created a lot of personal experience. And
what? Tell me about hard money lending. What is that?
Okay, well, the hard money lending and private money lending are two different things.
Okay.
Hard money lending is where, you could even go to a commercial type of lender and they're going to borrow you money at a higher cost.
Okay.
Higher percentages. So it's going to cost you some money. But if you get a sweetheart deal, it can still make financial sense to use hard money lenders.
Okay. Well, what kind of money are you lending? You said you're now doing
private.
Lending.
Yeah, it's
so
more.
So you're doing private lending.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, because it's just private's more of like an individual based type of lending versus an institution.
Okay, and so you help people, like that infomercial that says you can make millions of dollars selling real estate without any money down. You just go and borrow it from a private money lender. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
In that type of regard, yeah, where it's basically positioned where it says don't use any of your own money.
Right.
And so you can leverage other assets. Yes, I do have other private money lenders that, let's say somebody worked in corporate America for 30 or 40 years and built up a wonderful nest egg in their 401k.
Right.
A great way you can do and leverage those assets instead of the stock market.
Absolutely.
You can definitely position it or transfer into what's called a self-directed IRA.
Right. And that's very popular.
Yeah, and that's what I did. And so I leveraged those assets as a private money lender and teach and train others on how to pre-qualify who you lend to. Because believe me, that's a big, big deal.
Well, heck yeah.
Yeah, after all those years of accruing that and, punching the clock in the early days, I'm not going to just, waste it away on a bad deal or, let's say, an unseasoned investor.
Right.
I only partner with investors that have usually 3 to 5 years experience minimum and have a track record of successful buy, fix, and sell.
Well, I tell you what, bringing up that topic, I have worked with a lot of flipping people or people that want to be flippers or people that are just starting out. And I have seen people lose their butt. I have seen people lose money. But you know what? It's the learning curve. You have to lose in order to gain. But I've watched them as they go through the learning curve. And I would say one of the biggest problems with investors is just not really paying attention to experts, because I know what we need to do, but they just want to do what they want to do. And at the end of the day, they lose money because they buy the wrong house or they fix it up too much or they buy a house right in front of a giant church or something like that. What are you writing there?
Well, I'm writing notes to remind because I want to definitely for what you're saying. And you're darn right as far as what you're saying, Jenna, because a lot of people do, unfortunately, get started on a high level of emotion because they went to a seminar or something and they pumped them up and they get started and have some misfortunes because they did not invest in a mentor or a coach that's been there and done it themselves.
Right.
And that's where I really take a lot of pride into what I do and deliver as a professional coach and trainer is because I do have a lot of that personal experience in the front lines. And I've also coached over, 5,000 coaching calls nationwide, and now I'm international over the last 7 years. So
wow.
That really does bode for a lot of personal experience.
So you were now the first company, the reason I met you in the first place is you were with what was the name of that company?
Oh, Fortune Builders.
Fortune Builders, yes. So I have a friend, Dave, from Chicago, who was working with me on some other stuff, and you were one of his friends. So you were a mutual friend with Dave, and Dave is a real estate investor, and he's also with Fortune Builders. And then also Jenna, what's Jenna's last name?
Hoover.
Jenna Hoover was also in Fortune Builders, and we got to know each other, and we hung out. We went and traveled together, all of us. Anyway, long story short, she got on TV, and she had her own show, Jenna Buys Houses. Hi, Jenna, if you're listening, even though she blocked me on Facebook, I don't know why. I don't know why she blocked me on Facebook. I was probably being a bee or something way back when. This was a long time ago.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, hi, Jenna. And I heard she had a baby. That's what you said last night.
Baby number 2. She's got a little boy now. She's always had a
oh
little
my gosh,
girl.
2.
Yeah, and so happy Mother's Day to you, Jenna.
Happy
and that's
Mother's Day.
You two both named Jenna, both blonde hair, both rock stars in real estate.
Women are catty. What can we say? But no, who knows? I'm still following her, and she's a great girl. Anyway, and so that's how I know you, Jeff, and I know you from Fortune Builders, and I know that Fortune Builders is a really good mentorship, and that's not where you're at anymore.
No, I worked there for about 4.5 years as one of their top coaches at the inner circle level. They have certain levels, and we would teach and train investors that invested into themselves, their financial education.
Right.
And I would work with investors usually 1 year. Usually 1 to 2 calls a month for a whole year as a very high-level accountability coach that would teach and train them very specific techniques and what you need to do from start to finish to build a business. And sometimes I would work with investors from literally day one. They know nothing.
Okay.
And then I had some students I'd inherit that had 20 properties in their portfolio, 40 properties in their portfolio, and just needed to reach that next level. So
what would they ask you? I mean, what were some of the things you would teach in these coaching calls?
Oh, gosh. From beginning, I mean, we got to really get the mindset right. And some people have never been their own boss or an entrepreneur. And
oh, wow.
And so we got to do a shift there and start really train the brain, if you will, on that mindset and get good at, goal setting and also time management because a lot of people that start a home-based business, they have kids or, animals, and there's a lot of distractions in the home.
That is very true.
And so with that said,
huge.
I help people, design what I call healthy boundaries around, the distractions that can pull you away from your business, that you just really haven't conditioned those muscles, if you will, on staying focused on the task at hand.
And that's what I have to do as a broker to teach my agents. Will you come and teach my agents how to do all that?
Well, absolutely. Nice. I'll come back to Dallas, sure.
Oh, no, they can give you a call. Okay, we'll be right back after this break. Great conversation, Jeff.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Fisher, the Radio Root Sleuth, host of Extreme Genes Family History Radio. Every week right here, we bring you the latest on how to dig up your dead, plus amazing stories of discovery and expert guests. Maybe we can help you find who you're looking for.
Tune in to the Extreme Genes Radio Show hosted by Scott Fisher, Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. on Talk Radio 1190. If you're interested in finding out where you came from, listen to Extreme Genes Radio.
When you walk through a home improvement superstore, do you feel overwhelmed or do you shop till you drop?
You can drop a small fortune and still not accomplish your home repair or home improvement project. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti.
You can do it yourself, but you don't have to do it alone. Phone in your fix-up question. We'll give you specific advice that'll make you a smarter shopper at the superstore, the hardware store, or the lumber yard.
Join us for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Don't miss the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show Saturday afternoons 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Talk Radio 1190.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call Select Quote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, Select Quote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-694-1010. That's 800-694-1010. 800-694-1010 or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer.
I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom.
We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good,
others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty. Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
We trust our instincts.
just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something.
So the Jenna Ryan Weather Center, mostly cloudy this morning with a decrease in clouds later in the day and a high of 91. Later on tonight is mainly clear with a low of 72. This weather report was brought to you by Unbound.
When you sponsor through Unbound, you not only open the door to education for a young person, you empower a family to build a foundation of financial stability, empowerment, and respect. See your contribution grow into opportunity at unbound.org.
Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show. Jenna, take it away.
Thank you, Trell. We're so glad to be here today. We are here to pump you up. We're here, right, Jeff?
Absolutely. I'm
We're
ready
here.
to bring some energy. How about you?
We're ready to bring some energy to your day, to your week, to your moments. And I just want to start by saying one of my tricks for feeling better at any moment, it doesn't matter, is all mental chatter. It's all what you tell yourself, okay? If you tell yourself and you speak it with your words, I'm tired all the time, believe me, you will be tired. So what I do when I'm tired and not feeling like moving and lying around, then I just say, you know what? It's all about what I say to myself. Am I correct?
100%. There's no doubt that energy. And we heard that about, 10 years ago? That program or book came out and DVD called The Secret, where a lot of people were, you are what you think and, think positive and attract positive. Well, of course, I read the book, watched the DVD, but even before that, I was, plugged into mentors like, Zig Ziglar, if you will, back in the old school days, and like an Anthony Robbins and, Jim Rohn, and there's a handful more in today's modern world that I follow. And, I got this nickname from all these calls I've done in feedback and testimonials, this Mr. Positive. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I like that. Yeah, because like you, I pride myself in just, life is short. I had my dad pass away from cancer like 12, 13 years ago. And boy, that really taught me how short life is and, live in the moment.
Right. But it's more about, I like to pick myself up by my bootstraps. And so when I'm feeling like crap or not feeling like doing anything, I really have found that I take responsibility. So if I'm feeling badly and feeling lethargic, instead of just saying this is the way it is, I stop and I say, wait a minute, how am I contributing? I use mindfulness to think about what I'm thinking about. And I'm like, dang, if I sit there and think that, then that's going to happen. I need to get up and go for a run. I need to, pet my dogs. I need to, go for my solar plexus chakra and just do something for myself to take action.
Love it, Jenna. I agree 100%. One thing that you just resonated with me was go for a run, start moving your body, get your blood flowing. Yeah, the workout thing is a huge part of, if it's every other day is usually I'm in the gym or doing something outside in San Diego as far as getting that body moving and some fresh air. Yeah, I call it speaking life into yourself. I started out with a morning, what I call daily rituals. Morning, first thing before I even get out of bed, I'm speaking life into myself. And before I go to bed, it's like the power of prayer. And so I really, really resonate with that.
And you know what? You do have to speak life into yourself. However, also you have to take care of yourself. A lot of self-care is necessary because if you've got areas of your life that are not fulfilled and needs you're not meeting for yourself, because we're adults, we can meet our own needs. We're not just going to wake up and be depressed every day. We will if we don't take care of our needs. But if you have, you're not just drinking your life away, you're not just, eating your life away, you're not just watching TV and zoning out or overworking, but you're actually taking care of yourself, your true self. So you're having good growing relationships. You're not allowing negativity to get into your life. You're staying connected with others and thinking the best in others and also taking responsibility for yourself. And so you're not projecting your crap on other people and you're not blaming the world for your problems. You're like saying, okay, this is a problem. I am going to deal with it today myself, and I'm going to use this positive speaking over myself. Because your words have power.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, what you're referring to is what I call lifestyle habits.
Yes.
And having balance. I mean, we do work hard. I run 2 businesses, and I travel as a freelance, trainer and speaker and coach.
Right.
And that's why I'm getting on a plane tonight to go to Thailand to a high level. We got CEOs from 4 different countries coming in to a private retreat. Yeah,
Nice.
super excited. But there's no doubt to have balance after, a trip like that. Like you said, you're taking the day off tomorrow. Awesome. You deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Mondays are great to have a day off because I found a lot of times I do a lot of follow-up work, and I just don't do follow-ups on Mondays because some people are a little grumpy on Mondays or something. So I wait till Tuesdays to do a lot of follow-up.
Well, I have a list of things that make me fulfilled and happy at the end of the day as a human being. Now, this is aside from work, okay? But I have a little checklist. And if I have my green juice, which is, my spinach, my kale, my tomatoes, my whatever. I put it in a Ninja.
Tons of veggies.
If I have my veggies, then I'm like, okay, there's a checkbox. I got that done. And you know what? I deserve a pat on the back. And then I go, okay, I worked out. I went to Orange Theory with Deb. And I've got to invite her on the show. Oh, my gosh. She looked at me the other day. She was like, do you think you can do a little more on those legs? I mean, I was like, everything was out of my body. There was no more energy left. And I looked at her and I go, no, I cannot. And she's like, anyway, it's a long
And
story.
she pushed you. You did
She
probably do a couple
pushed
more. Again, the importance of a good coach or a trainer.
No, I have my own sense of self. I didn't let that get in me. But anyway, because I was tired, but I know what I can do. But once you get to a certain point, you can start doing it for yourself. Okay. And that's an important thing to know. Like everybody needs a little bit in the beginning, but once you start knowing who you are, then you know who you are, and you don't need a bunch of telling. But in the beginning, you need coaching, and I've had coaching, and everybody's had coaching. And then also, so if I eat right, I work out, and then I make my 20 cold calls. If I make my 20 cold calls for the day, I know that my pipeline will be full, and at the end of the day, I will be fine.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
good.
and then I'm like, okay, now that I've got this down, what can I start working on? What's next? What do I want to add on to improve my life? And my life has been improving and improving and improving as I go.
Well, there's no coincidence. As you set yourself up, your body's saying, hey, thank you for great nutrition that you're putting into yourself.
Right.
And then you've got, yourself going to work out on top of it. And so you're ready to go, both physically, mentally. And I would also add in that ritual, like I add music. As you're taking a shower after that workout, put on some of that favorite music. You're talking about going to Leonard Skinner live. I love going to live concerts. I saw them a couple years ago myself. Such a fun show, know, and they're so I love how they're pro-American, raising the flag and get everybody pumped up. Yeah, and they really support the troops and everything. So such a fun band on top of the musics and the classics.
Okay.
Let's really just
stop right there because that is a really good point. Music. I mean, there's little things in life that mean a lot more than you would think. And a lot of times in the busy, you're trying to survive and you're really just trying to make a deal or get ahead and you forget some of the things that are good for you. And music would be something that I love. But it takes some time and it takes some effort to make sure you're surrounded by lovely music, by uplifting music, hopefully. And if you are crazy like me, like that crazy rock and roll sometimes, but I like it. So I should make sure that it's available to myself. And some of you are saying, what? I do that all the time. I mean, I know people that are very musically inclined, but I've always been so driven that I'm like, who cares? Just whatever's on the radio, just give it to me. But I think that's a very important, a good thing to do. Music. Also, having a conversation with your friend. It's very important that we get the socialization. We need to socialize with people. And not just, sometimes it can be very superficial, but you've got to be getting your feelings out. Dontrell, maybe that might help. You feel better. He's smiling so big. Talking with someone, if you have to get a therapist, fine. But, friends can serve as really good sounding boards as long as they're safe and healthy, and just, this is how I feel right now. And then not being such a, if you're a healthy person, then you're not going to be, you can talk to people. And that's important as personal development.
Well,
I think.
I would completely agree with you, Jenna, especially us being in real estate. I learned as a young entrepreneur that I had to get out there, and I always thought I was too young to get started, and we had to start talking to people. A lot of people are older, I hear I'm like 22, 23, and everyone's, 30, 40, 50, etc.
Yeah.
And you're talking about community, and we're actually designed as human beings to really be in community, whether it's friends, family, business associates, etc.
Exactly.
And I love what you said about, being genuine and being present and really listening.
Present.
Asking some questions. Yeah. And you said, hey, if you do need to talk with somebody, when we were growing up, it was called a counselor, and that seemed taboo if you were seeing a counselor. And nowadays, a lot of my calls after like 3 or 4 calls of business topics evolves into life coaching, because we do sometimes need to get ourselves out of our own funk or our own way and be open to learning new concepts and ideas so we can implement them to, make a difference in that income. Because if you keep doing the same thing, you're always going to get the same result. We've all heard that, right?
Right. It's like, yeah, I totally agree. And so I think it's very important that you have someone to talk to, especially, men. Men need, because they're not as talkative as women. And they really need to have an outlet, of someone to talk to.
So true, yeah.
Or they're going to, turn 50 and fly off a curb and buy a Corvette. Okay, we'll be right back after this break.
Embrace debate. Now that he actually caught the ball, is he more valuable to the Cowboys?
Yes.
Now that he caught the ball against the Packers?
Yes, now that he allegedly caught it.
That's just a little preview of what you'll get here on The Shore Thing on Talk Radio 1190 from Sunday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. New time slot for us with your host, Warren Shore.
And Ryan Silva. We got plenty of hot takes, good friendly banter, and plenty of sports information to keep you up to date on the sports happenings.
We talk all DFW sports, Rangers, Cowboys, Mavs, Stars. Give us a call, 214-787-1190 on our new time slot. Sunday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. here on Talk Radio 1190.
It's time to shift your thinking as Michael Yorba delivers tomorrow's ideas today with interviews from industry titans and CEOs. Hear the latest on technology, capital formation, and global financial markets here on the CEO Money Show with Michael Yorba, weekdays at 2 p.m. on Talk Radio 1190.
Let's talk about Jacob. Last June, he was a mechanic, stressed out, working 50, 60 grueling hours a week. Less than 6 months later, Jacob started his information technology career, making more money, working less hours. How long will it take you? Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an information technology professional in as little as 4 months. Don't have computer experience or training? No problem. Helping people start an IT career is what we do. Attend classes in Dallas, Arlington, or live online. It's just twice a week to get what you'll need to start your new career. More than just a school, My Computer Career helps you get into the industry by working with hundreds of employers that hire our students. My Computer Career is nationally accredited, and financial aid is available for those who qualify, including the GI Bill. Classes start soon, so go take the career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu. It's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. mycomputercareer.edu.
Me? I started smoking when I was 13. I always thought when the time came, I could quit. No problem. Then at 28, I tried to go cold turkey, and I found out how hard it really was. I made it all day without a smoke. Right until I met up with the guys. But I learned something that night. In fact, every time I tried to quit, there were more than a few, I learned a little more about what worked and what didn't work for me. And when I realized that I wasn't alone, that most people don't quit on their first or second attempt, I knew there was still hope. Today, I'm an ex-smoker. My only advice is to never, ever give up trying to quit.
If you're trying to quit smoking, the American Lung Association is here to help every step of the way. Visit quitterinyou.org for tools, tips, and stories from smokers we've helped to finally quit for good. The American Lung Association. We support the quitter in you at quitterinyou.org.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org.
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops.
This is the Jenna Ryan Show on KFXR 1190. Jenna.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Jenna Ryan Show. We're here today with Jeff Fallon. He is a master coach, And he is a real estate coach. He's a motivational coach who will help you in your business. And we're just getting motivated here today. We wanted to talk a little bit about, I see here your 7 steps to wholesaling and rehabbing. Mm-hmm. However, I want to kind of change it into 7 steps to do anything.
Okay,
like
great.
You could be a real estate agent. If you're a new agent, 7 steps for that. 7 steps for. We met last night. We went to dinner and we met this young man who was starting his auto business. Or if you're hustling, if you're out there hustling and wanting to get something done, that's what I think is important. Can we share that as more general?
Absolutely, Jenna, no problem. I started out as a real estate investing coach, and like I said, it's evolved into basically a business coach, business development. I speak on almost 20 different topics, whether it's sales, marketing, branding, networking, and then diving deep into like partnerships and raising capital. So with all that said, step 1, there's no doubt if we're a client of mine or we started working together, we are going to do a foundational blueprint. We're going to have call 1 that I call a discovery call to really understand what's motivating you. Where are you going? What are your goals in business?
Where do you want to be?
Exactly. And so we do what's called reverse engineering, a little bit of working backwards. It's not rocket science, but it's a vital part in the beginning. So we don't waste each other's time is the bottom line. And with that said, we've heard it, I've heard it my whole life, 30 years of being an entrepreneur, is setting goals. But I've learned that probably about 85 to 90% of people might start them or not even write them down. So we are absolutely going to have goals. And I like to use an acronym called SMART to keep it really simple and duplicatable. And I focus in on 30-day goals initially because it's very short term to get that conditioning like you talked about, going to the gym. Well, you start out with 10-pound dumbbells or 15. And after a week or two, you get to 20 pounds and you work your way up. There's no doubt, same thing. And as an accountability and, a coach or trainer, just like the pros, you talked about having a coach, like people, whether you're a pro athlete or an Olympian, they have coaches. And it's to get them, I remember like Michael Phelps, one of the most, gold medals. He's got 20 plus.
Right.
Well, he's in that gym, and not in the gym, the pool every day for years at 6 a.m. in the cold water, doing laps and laps. But did he have a coach there? Yes. Because there were some days like you were talking about, you just don't even feel like getting out of bed. We're hitting snooze buttons at 6 a.m. This guy's flying through the water every day,
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to be. So, so the first thing you do is, I know what I was going to say. I was going to say that I had one coaching call one time, and he asked me, where do you want to be in 5 years? Okay. And he said, come back to me with an exact everything you want, what you want your business to look like, what you want to be doing, how much money you want to have in the bank, where you want to be living, really just flesh that out. And so I think that is vital. Whenever you're getting started on what you want to do, I don't care where you're at. If you're, going to buy a house, what do you want that to feel like? What do you want that to look like? You want to be a real estate agent. What do you want to feel like in a year? And you can go far out as you may not have ever, you may work in retail. You may have never done real estate. But what do you want your life to look like? And don't be afraid to dream as big as possible because you will achieve it. And you work every day, you do a little something towards your goals, and eventually you achieve it. But that's what they do in coaching. That's one of the first things they ask.
Yeah, we have to start there. Like I said, 30 days is initially. Of course, I'm going to have a 60 and 90-day plan. So we really are going to set you up for success in that quarter.
Right.
And yes, I agree with you. Like I'll do 6-month and 12-month goals just to map out that 1 year that usually a client enrolls or signs up in a program of mine.
Right.
But again, I want you to come out of the gate like just hard, fast, excited about those goals and get some momentum of successes. I really like to celebrate the wins. And again, we start out with basic stuff that seems elementary, if you will, sometimes for some people. And it depends on where you're at in your career too. If it's a real estate business, well then of course, if you've already got the foundation built, I'm going to meet and match you where you're at to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And so that's just the starting point to answer your question. And it usually evolves into time management is the second one. one that we're going to, really discover some more. Because I always hear, as a coach for many years now, is the excuses. Well, I don't have any time. I don't have any money. I'm tired. I don't have this. I mean, I've heard them all, right? And so you've got to, I equip people with time management skills. And awareness is the bottom line. So I love to do this exercise. Is it okay if I share a golden nugget with your audience?
Go for it.
All right. It's called the 168 rule. And 168, what does that mean? What does that number even come from? Well, it comes from multiplying 24 hours in a day times 7 days a week. So 24 times 7 equals 168. And what I would have you do is basically reverse engineer 168 to find out how many extra hours a week do you have to dedicate to your business. Whether it's, again, a side business, a real estate business, something that you want to develop and grow into something awesome. Okay, great. But a lot of people think they have an extra 25 or 35 hours a week. And then when we do this reverse engineer, I'm talking you minus your 8 hours a night of sleeping. I mean, some people get 6. I understand that. So 6 times 7 is 42. Maybe you got 8 hours on the weekend. So you minus that off the 168. You minus off how many hours a week of eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Also, how much time did it take to go to the store? How much time did it take to prepare the meal? How much time did it take to clean up the meal afterwards? So I do like an hour a meal. So that's 3 hours a day times 7. So now you're minusing off 21 hours just for feeding our bodies with the nutrition you're talking about.
Well, I think that once you get to a certain level and you're winning at life, then all of these things become integrated and you can find, like I don't really care how much time it takes me to go to the grocery store. I don't count that. So my goal in life is to be peaceful. My goal in life is to be easygoing. My goal in life is to just relax and not be such a freak. Because I was a freak for so many years where I was just on this fast track and my self-worth was tied into how much money I was making every month. And I was making a lot of money. I was making like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month before I was 30 years old. Okay, I was working and I was stressing.
Well, you're
I was
burning
stressing out.
Yeah.
Well, and then I went to therapy and I was like, okay, I feel like I have no self-esteem if I don't make $20,000 in a month.
Oh, wow.
So then I had to pay a therapist to teach me that I'm worth everything, regardless of how much money I make a month.
True.
And so now I'm kind of chill. I'm kind of like, okay, but I'm at a different stage in my career.
Sure.
But I still have an appreciation for, doing well, but it's just not everything. More to me that's important is my life, my quality of life. So yes, I want to be successful, but I don't tie any worth in with my success. I tie my worth, my worth is already there, and then I'm happy if I have friends, if I have good conversations, if I have leading edge conversations, if I have, I take care of my body and I take care of my health. If I have my health and my doggies and my friends and my business, it's called balance for me. That's what it's about for me. But I've already done all the hard stuff like generating leads and making the cold calls. So I don't really care if it takes me 10 minutes to go to the grocery store, but I hate going to the grocery store, but I do it.
A lot of people. Yeah, now you can outsource it and do it online and have it delivered to your front door, which is awesome. And what you're talking about is quality of life, Jenna. I appreciate hearing that you've evolved, as a hustler and a go-getter in your 20s and 30s and really just making the money per se. And now realizing that, hey, life has a lot more to it than just whatever the W-2 or the tax form says at the end of the year.
Because
we all need to make money, but yeah.
Yeah, your worth is not tied into how much money you make or how successful you are. Now, if you're just getting started out in your career, then you need to listen to Zig Ziglar. You need to listen to people like Jeff Fallon, or even if you're, just at a standstill, you need to do that. But at the same time, you don't want to forget your true self, your authenticity, your the things that make you happy, that drive you, so that you're not using success and work as like a crutch or an escape, or like drugs or like alcohol or an identity, because your identity is not tied up in how much money you make or whatever. And I think that's whenever success becomes fun. When you're not doing it in order to get external approval or external validation, or trying to get validation from something you'll never get it. You could try forever. You could make $50,000 a month. I've done it. And you could do that not every month, but I did it a couple months out of the year.
All right.
But I was like blowing and going. I mean, I was like, people were like, you exhaust me. But I'm like, you're just jealous because I just made 50 and you made 10. Okay.
It's so funny. Live and learn is what I call it. And I love what you just said, Jenna, because you can do things that inspire and motivate you for a bigger cause. And so I do give back. A lot of some of my proceeds, at least a percentage, go back to charities that I really believe and inspire me, like Special Olympics, Wounded Warriors. I give to cancer because it took some family members and it's affected everybody on the planet. So by the time I pass on, I hope we have a quote unquote significant, well, we're not supposed to say cure, but cure for cancer where it's not taking the amount of lives that it does. So I contribute to it based off some of the revenues I receive from coaching clients and different functions as a professional. And it helps me. It helps, it makes me feel better that I'm at least doing something to contribute to that cause that needs to happen in our society.
I think that's true. We need a philanthropic outlet to give back, and that can be something that you can look forward to. If you've already achieved success, which I feel like I'm pretty successful in my life because I don't make, $1 million. I do pretty well, but I have success in I just truly feel content. But you've got to go somewhere beyond that. You don't just want to lie back and die. You've got to get out there and do some other things like help the world.
Amen to that.
Amen. We'll be right back after this break.
All right. Take care.
Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for listening today. I'm here today with Jeff Fallon. He is a master coach, and he is gracing us with his presence from San Diego today.
Yay.
And I understand, Jeff, that you're going to Thailand today.
Tonight, yes. I got a long flight over to Phuket. We're doing a high-level 3-day mastermind where we're getting into business development, business growth, and really diving into about, I think, 20 or so CEOs from about 4 different continents are meeting us over there in Phuket. So it's one of those luxury location type of things, house on the beach, and really have that wow experience, both in training, location, and I'm just really excited. I work with JT Fox. He's coined as the #1 wealth coach, and he's just dedicated to really helping entrepreneurs take themselves and their business to the next level. So I'm happy to support. And, as a master coach, I love this word, well, what's a master coach?
Right.
Well, it's just where I'm able to evolve on a lot of different topics, whether it's both personally or professionally. Of course, I evolve a lot, more in depth in the professional realms. But again, as we mentioned earlier in the show, sometimes, we go through a life event once in a while. And that's, I went through a divorce 10 years ago and a passing of a father in cancer and a handful of other things that I've even learned through coaching and training other human beings out there across this wonderful United States and everywhere else. And so I really just listen and take a lot of that experience, and whatever I've learned or gained, I'm ready to share forward. And that's why I love helping people. That's a main mantra. I live by what I call live to give, and I'm happy to share because I care. Period.
Well, that's great. And some of the things that you share, you have some very good motivational stuff. The secret, okay, here's one from Anthony Robbins. The secret to success is learning how to use pain and pleasure instead of having pain and pleasure use you. If you do that, you're in control of your life. If you don't, life controls you. What does that mean?
Well, what that talks about, I read Anthony's book, Awaken the Giant Within, at 19 years old. Changed my life. I wasn't a big reader, and this book's like a fat 500-page thing, and I couldn't put it down for 2 weeks straight. And that principle, pain and pleasure, you actually learn in the first 2 chapters of the book, and it's linking pain to a certain activity. Like when people procrastinate, they're thinking of some kind of root pain that, someone's going to say no, or like you were talking about cold calling. Someone's going to hang up on you. Someone's going to call you crazy. So they'll link that as far as the pain to why they're not doing cold calls.
Or like whenever, Don Trell said he was tired, he linked it to working all the time.
Exactly. So
or whenever I'm tired, I have it too. Sorry to use him as
an example.
No. Yeah, but it's like the same way with me. It's like, I link pain to working out. I hate working out sometimes.
So here's how you flip that around.
Okay.
You focus on the pleasure. The pleasure side of it, whether it's real estate, life, or working out, would be, well, why do you work out? You want that, summer body. You want to be in the bikini. You want to be looking great.
Yeah,
so that's the
Facebook.
pleasure side of it. You got to focus on the end goal. So when I started in real estate, I was nervous and making those calls or knocking on doors. I remember doing for sale by owner calls, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, I had to fixate on the end goal, which was building a multi-million-dollar portfolio and be able to retire early from cold Chicago winters and move to Florida, California, or Arizona. I had to get out of that snow. And so I really fixated on the pleasure side of a front end of a task.
That's really good.
So I can really shift my mindset. And again, that's why I have that quote in there as far as one of the slides or in a presentation I share when I speak on how to overcome fear. And that's principle number 1. Principle number 1, I've got about 4 principles that really go into it to help equip people on how to get themselves out of their own way, or that little voice in our heads that have fear, that hold people back. Like some people are afraid of like getting sued. That's why they don't buy a property.
Right.
Or, having contractors walk off a job. And there's a lot of things that can freak some people out on why they don't take action.
Overthinking.
Overthinking it, it's crazy, the little voice in our head. And that's one of the other principles, is mastering that little voice and really fixating on the pleasure side of why we do anything, and let that drive you into action versus the opposite as far as keeping us from taking no action.
Because we're the ones with our hands on the knob. We're the ones who are in control of how we think about a specific thing. You have an internal locus of control, not an external locus of control. Things are not happening to you. You, my friend, are in control of what is happening. And you can choose to associate different feelings of pleasure or pain based upon your habituations. If you are habituated to think that working out is really hard work, then you're going to feel like crap when you work out, or you're not going to want to work out, or you might procrastinate. But if you begin to associate working out with what it's going to give to you, with the end result, then you're going to be more inclined.
Absolutely, 100%. And so, that evolves into concept number 2, since we brought it up, Jenna. It's so important, is, well, how do you gain the confidence? Once you got that shift, either pain or pleasure, and we're going to focus on the pleasure side to take action. Well, how do you gain the confidence? Well, it comes from repetition. Practice, practice, practice. We talked about, I used Michael Phelps as an example. I mean, I can speak of any athlete, like, growing up in Chicago was Michael Jordan. He was known relentless practice. Like his teammates told him to ease up, back off. I mean, they would have heated practices where Michael was just relentless, and that transferred into his game time. And he's, gone down as one of the maybe most notorious best basketball players ever, depending on who you talk to. But the bottom line, it relates with me because I started martial arts as a young guy, like 14 years old, and I had to go through these moves and kicks and punches and blocks that were painful. And it was really testing your body, where I was like shaking. But that pain I wanted to overcome because I wanted to get my black belt. I wanted to be like Bruce Lee. So the focus was the end result versus the short-term pain.
That's awesome. And so at the end of the day, it takes 21 days to create a habit. So I figure, if I go to Orange Theory, 21 days, and it does, becomes a habit, and it starts to become integrated into what you do. For example, I drink that green juice, and at first it was like, whoa, green juice, oh my gosh. It's my sister, my friends are like, what are you drinking? How can you drink that? But I started drinking it. I started eating a lot of vegetables, and then day by day it became more and more delicious. So now eating vegetables is great, and I feel much better.
Don't you notice? I've done it too, and it wasn't so great tasting in the beginning, so I had to add the apple to it to kind of sweeten up the kale. But now it's like when I go to drink my green juice or I have a fruit juice, it's very similar. Like my body is like excited and it craves it almost. Like people, like coffee drinkers. Coffee drinkers got to have their coffee in the morning. I get it. So that's how it shifted for me with green juice and just having a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
You know, with that kind of stuff. And now, hey, I am human, so I eat clean Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, you know, kind of having balance in life. I don't go flying off the deep end, if you will, but I might have a little sweet treat now and then on the weekend.
Absolutely. You've got to do that. You've got to live. I mean, you know, there's no sense in depriving yourself, and we don't have to look like a fitness model. Just close. Just as close as possible. We reach for the stars. We may not get a star, but we won't get a handful of mud either. That was from high school. I remember it being on the wall. So, okay, what do you want to talk about next?
Well, what goes next is for after, you know, how do we really gain confidence and really getting into repetition and having a coach. So you do perfect practice. You know, like going to the gym. I was lucky enough to have a mentor in my teenage years when I started lifting weights and working out on perfect form.
Yes.
So you have good symmetry and you're not like big on one side and not developed or whatever that, you know, may be because of bad form.
Right.
And so same thing. And that transfers into business, and having someone that can really, again, get you into more of a shortcut. I don't want to cut corners per se, but I want to really make sure that you're advancing through systems that are going to generate income. I help people focus on income producing activities because there is so much quote unquote filler work out there that will not get you paid, that we can offload some of those responsibilities to, let's say, an admin or a personal assistant.
Oh, heck yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many successful CEOs that I've learned from myself. And again, I'm a student of the game. I take a lot of notes when I go see a high-level speaker or trainer myself.
Right.
And many of them say, hey, if I would have started over, 10 years earlier or started all over again, what would you do differently?
Right.
And a lot of very successful CEOs say, you know what? I would have hired an assistant or an admin within that first 90 days or less, then do a lot of that busy work myself.
Yes, and it's very important to do that. And I do have a transaction coordinator that handles all of that. And once I had her, my production doubled. And so it's worth the time and the effort to train someone and find good people around you to do the stuff that's rote, things that are routine, and allow someone else to do that for you, and so that you can focus on high-level things like cold calling and getting out there and pressing the flesh and meeting people face-to-face and networking and lead generation, right?
Right, yeah. Where you do that as a seasoned pro, Jenna, everyone knows your name, your brand, and seeing you out there in the marketplace with, shaking hands and really being, like you say, face-to-face. I'm a big believer of that still, that old school marketing, and we're talking about, offloading some roles and responsibilities like social media. Here we're on Facebook Live. What a wonderful platform at a very, very low cost, if you will. I wish I had this when I got started. I mean, I did door-to-door flyers. I did everything. I didn't miss RIA meetings for 7 years straight, and these are on my days off, really putting in that dedication and paying our dues.
Right.
And the thing
Hustle.
is, you could have a social media manager, that's worth their weight in gold, and these younger millennials do stuff in, 2 hours. It takes us some people 2 days.
True, very true. Yeah, leveraging social media would be a very, leveraging any kind of tool to make yourself more efficient is very wise. That is such good advice. Tell us, how do we get in touch with you if we wish for you to be our coach?
Oh, yeah. I have a website.
1 minute. We have 1 minute.
Okay, no problem. I have a website. It's called yourceo.com, YOUARECEO.com.
Great name.
It's because we are all our own CEOs in business and in life. And so, yes, I can be in contact there. And it's actually set up as a business dojo. My martial arts background, I weave in and do some fun demonstrations when I speak on how to overcome fear. And, it's evolved into a little bit of a shtick.
We got to go. Oh. So good to have you, Jeff. Have fun in Thailand. Talk to you next week, everyone.
All right, take care.